assuming.
Did you miss any of the Karen Reed murder trial today? We have you covered. We're getting you caught up on everything you may have missed and what you can expect next in the trial. That's just minutes away at 7.
I don't think that these sessions are really working.
I'm picking up on a lot of rage.
Firing your therapist is hard. Hiring Morgan & Morgan for your injury is easy. Morgan & Morgan, the choice is easy.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can capture all the summer fun. Wow, my favorite party trick.
You could get 3.75 for 60 financing on a luxurious all-wheel drive Crown Hybrid. Toyota, let's go places.
You're watching NBC 10 Boston. News worthy of you. Tonight on Canton Confidential.
Very normal. Just a few friends out having some drinks.
Until it all went wrong.
She tells me that John didn't come home last night.
On day 7 of testimony, we learn more about the man at the heart of this case.
He was our friend. He was really good to me and my kids.
And his relationship with Karen Reed, the woman now accused of his murder.
They were affectionate toward each other, loving toward each other.
We're bringing you the highlights from court. Canton Confidential, the Karen Reed murder trial, starts right now.
Day 7 of testimony in the Karen Reed murder trial. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Canton Confidential. I'm JC Monahan.
And I'm Glenn Jones. Today, we were taken back in time before the night of January 28th, 2022, before John O'Keefe's body was found in the snow, and before the lives of their families were changed forever.
This morning, 3 friends of Officer O'Keefe and Karen Reed took the stand, followed by a bartender from the Waterfall Bar and Grill and a married couple who knew of O'Keefe and Reed in passing. They were at the Waterfall the night before John O'Keefe died.
Their testimonies were personal and at times emotional, recalling conversations and seemingly normal interactions with their friend. Those details giving us a more complete picture of who John O'Keefe was. Before we expand on that character sketch, let's start with an overview of what happened today. There's a lot to get to.
Yeah, our Kirsten Glavin is live in Dedham with the moments you may have missed. Kirsten?
Well, a number of people who testified today said they initially became friends because their kids were friends. What we're also learning this evening is what began as just a normal, very fun night out quickly took a horrible turn sometime after leaving the bar. These surveillance videos capturing a night of bar hopping from C.F. McCarthy's across the street to the Waterfall Bar and Grill.
That is me, and that is John.
Everything very normal. Just a few friends out having some drinks.
The night before Boston police officer John O'Keefe was killed, O'Keefe, his girlfriend Karen Reed, and several friends seen drinking and chatting, listening to music.
You didn't see any evidence of any problems between Karen and John O'Keefe?
I did not.
Some in the group even describing the couple's loving demeanor.
So she started talking about how much he sacrifices, how he's like unconditionally puts all his time and effort into the kids, how she admired him for that.
They were affectionate toward each other, loving toward each other, and to the point where my wife even made a comment, why are you not like that with me?
One bartender testifying that no one appeared overserved.
Nobody really seemed highly intoxicated to you, correct?
No.
The defense then playing one clip showing Brian Albert and Brian Higgins appearing to play fight.
Do you recall him doing any sparring?
An overall rosy review of the night coming up short of describing how it all went wrong. Only several witnesses touching on the horrors that following morning.
I see a lot of missed calls, a bunch of missed calls from Karen and missed calls from my wife's work. She tells me that John didn't come home last night.
Even text messages read aloud to the jury.
Go back home so you're safe with Kaylee. He will end up home. I bet he's on someone's couch. He's dead.
Leaving court, the defense again pointing to that play fight before things turned violent.
2 guys grappling, sparring, looking like they're fighting, practicing fighting techniques. You tell me.
Nothing is a surprise to me. My only surprise is why we're going through this. My daughter's factually innocent. She's been framed.
Nice to see you.
Now, Now, prosecutors did note that the intimate details of the relationship between O'Keefe and Reed were never discussed that night, insinuating there may have been other issues behind closed doors. Court will resume again tomorrow. We're scheduled for a half day. Reporting live here in Dedham, I'm Kirsten Glavin. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
So, Kirsten, several witnesses also testified they saw Karen Reed holding a clear glass with a clear liquid in it. Maybe it was a vodka cocktail. Up until now, the characterization of that night, it really sounded like it was, I don't know, belligerent almost, like a night of heavy drinking. But the testimony doesn't reflect that. It sounds more calm and normal. What's your take?
You know, Glenn, that's exactly how a lot of people took it today, I believe, at least after we heard from the bartender who was there saying that no one was overserved that night. You heard from people who were actually partaking in this night out saying that no one seemed to be slurring words. There were no glossy eyes, as the defense pointed out. Everyone was able to carry a conversation. This was just a fun night out amongst friends that somehow escalated sometime after the bar. So yes, it was portrayed that way, as a wild night, but today we kind of shed light on that a little bit, getting more insight into what the feel and the atmosphere really was in between those two bars.
Kirsten, thank you. You know you'll be back with us each and every day. Right now, though, back in studio tonight with us is our courtroom insider, Sue O'Connell. And Sue, it felt like there was a different feel in the courtroom today, and perhaps that is because we heard from friends and not just first responders from the moment of. As a matter of fact, if we can, let's just play a little moment from John's friend Michael Camerano as he answered questions about John's personality.
Was Mr. O'Keefe particular about that?
Yes, he was.
And how so?
He always kept things very tight. He was like OCD. Everything was very tidy. When you walked in the door into the house, to the left, you put your shoes, your coats would be hung there.
And as far as shoes were concerned, is that something that you wore inside the house or not?
He'd rather you not.
That spontaneous laughter, because of, you know, those moments when you talk about a friend where you're just like, oh, that is so John. Did you feel it? And were you able to notice if that was a moment for the O'Keefes to just...
Yeah, so we're sitting behind the O'Keefes, so we can't see the O'Keefes' faces. But I will say, you know, JC, to your point, we've heard from 14 first responders in a row. And the clinical way that they often talk about doing their jobs, which we expect them to, really kind of got us into this rhythm. And then, you know, the Cameranos come on and they talk so warmly about John O'Keefe that there were a number of laughs in the courtroom today about this friend group. You know, we're also learning about this friend group and how much they really, really love John O'Keefe and Karen Reed and their relationship and taking care of all their kids together and going out every Friday, like, you know, Michael Camerano going out every single Friday to John O'Keefe's house with their kids because his wife is working the overnight, you know, and then having this going through having to read those texts, you know, between Camerano and his wife.
They showed those in court.
Yep, and she read them, and, you know, having her, Catherine Camerano, text to Karen Reed, well, he's probably just on someone's couch. How many times have we said that to someone when someone hasn't come home? And 99.9% of the time, they are on someone's couch. And that really got to it. You could see people just kind of wince at that because we all have been there. And then, you know, Michael having to go through, he missed the calls because he was charging his phone. He picks up his phone and all hell is broken loose. Like, where is John O'Keefe? What is happening?
Relatable moments in those immediate moments.
Right. Yep. And it sounds like what the prosecution is doing now is making sure the juror understands who the victim is. And that is completely understandable. But I wonder if you sense any impatience on their part that at some point the prosecution has to prove that Karen Reed did this.
Glenn, we've heard from 22 witnesses from the prosecution, and almost every single one of them, I might even say every one of them, has made a case as to what great relationship Karen Reed had with John O'Keefe.
A loving couple.
A loving couple. And the first responders with their conflicting testimony about not writing things down, and the one first responder who may have perjured herself. We're going to find out about that later in the week. So if I've gone into this case without knowing any, I haven't read any briefs, I haven't paid any attention to any of the conspiracy theories any more than most people. But I went into this case hoping to listen to what the jurors are hearing in the courtroom. And if I was a juror right now, I'd be wondering, what's the story the prosecution is trying to tell me? What are they accusing Karen Reed of? Where is the murder? I don't see anything here except for what the first responders were saying about her saying, I did it, which the defense is going to try and really discredit. But I honestly, we're sitting there wondering. We moved from it's snowing, it's snowing, it's snowing,
right,
to ADA Lally now saying, what do your kids do? What kind of sports do you play? How long have you lived in Canton? Where do you eat? Where's the band playing at the waterfall?
In other words, there's no
tables?
we don't see the bricks being laid, right? At this point,
It's hard to see that, yeah.
Right, you're trying to see how they build a case. We're going to talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll get more on that with Michael Coyne coming up. Also, still ahead here on Canton Confidential, one of our legal experts, Michael Coyne, will be here in the studio to talk about the things we were just discussing with Sue O'Connor.
Exactly. Today's line of questioning from both the defense and the prosecution, and what he thinks we could see unfold next. So stay right there.
Your favorite morning news team.
He's optimistic, and his name is Optimistic Raul Martinez.
It is, and she's optimistic. Latoya Edwards
has a new addition.
For timing and how much rain we're going to get, let's check in with our meteorologist, Tevin Wooten.
Join Latoya, Raul, and now Tevin.
How excited are you to be on this morning?
Oh, I am so excited. I can't wait to go.
Make every morning a morning worthy of you. Weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. only on NBC 10 Boston.
Don't drive dirty. Prestige Car Wash, home of the free vacuum. Join our VIP Wash Club for just $19.99 a month. Wash your car every day. Cancel anytime. 22 locations in Greater Boston.
Free vacuum for everyone!
Chrysler Pacifica is the most awarded minivan 7 years in a row. And it's all thanks to parents like you, mother of 4 boys under 10. You do all you can to keep these wildebeest safe. The Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. The most awarded minivan with the most standard safety features in its class.
Right now, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. Plus, you may qualify for up to a $7,500 federal tax credit on the 2023 Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid.
Where can you get Wi-Fi speeds faster than Verizon? X marks the spot. Get the lowest price ever for Xfinity Gig Speed Internet with unlimited data included. That's Xfinity Gig Speed Internet for only $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited. If you want to save more than $800 over Verizon in your first year, X marks the spot. Switch to fast, reliable Xfinity Internet and bring on the good stuff.
Join our VIP Wash Club. Only $19.99 per month. Cancel anytime.
Prestige Car Wash, home of the free vacuum.
Wash your car every day.
Cancel anytime.
Free vacuum for everyone.
There was nothing eventful at the bar, while you were at the bar with Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed, that comes to mind in terms of any kind of tension or fight that night?
Tension or fight? Absolutely not.
No argument that was audible to you?
Absolutely not.
You didn't see any body language between the two of them that would suggest an argument or a fight or tension?
In fact, I noticed the opposite.
Describe that.
They were affectionate toward each other, loving toward each other, and to the point where my wife even made a comment, why are you not like that with me?
Okay, that was a portion of Nicholas Kolakitha's testimony today. He and his wife were at the Waterfall Bar and Grill the night of January 28th, just hours before Karen Reed allegedly hit her boyfriend John O'Keefe with his car. Now, there's a chuckle here from them and from us in the sense that is once again a prosecution witness and once again painting a delightful picture of Karen Reed and the relationship that she had with John O'Keefe. Michael Coyne, you're our legal expert. What is the prosecution doing? And as we were just talking with Sue, where are the bricks to start building a case that she actually did do something?
They're moving at an incredibly slow pace, and I do worry that the jury might be tuning out at some point. So we have to get to the real meat of it. The fact is they are trying to personalize him and give him some heart so that the jury can understand who it is that's been lost here. But in the process, they've also personalized her. They've made her sympathetic. She was a good parent. She was a good partner by all accounts up to now, and we've had a lot of witnesses testify to that. The problem is they really need to focus on what I would think should be the theme: the drinking, the driving, the death. That message has been inculcated in us since middle school, and I just don't see enough of it. I expected to see a night of hard drinking or much more evidence of that.
Sure.
The tab that was put in was it was modest. It was, Sue at an afternoon lunch.
If we go by Sue's count, almost 24 prosecution witnesses, not only have they not helped the prosecution prove that Karen Reed did this, but they've only helped prove that she was a loving girlfriend and that maybe the law enforcement work in this was sloppy. So at some point, they need to prove something. So let me ask the question this way. What has the prosecution proven at this point in the case against Karen Reed? Is the answer literally zero?
It was snowing. They had to shovel the apron around the fire station. People in Canton have kids. People who live in Canton spend a lot of time together. Canton is a big sports town. I don't know what the message is.
The message is the confession, and we've sort of stayed away from that word as well. But she confessed to a number of different people that night. The problem is they didn't document it. They didn't take that into account. They then let her leave. So how seriously did they consider that confession?
So if that is the one point that the prosecution has proved that Karen Reed did this, has the defense done enough already, even before it presents its case, to water down that one iota of proof?
Yes, because again, remember, the burden of proof is on the government to show beyond a reasonable doubt all of the elements of their charges. They are nowhere near that, and they're 2 weeks in now to their case. Yeah. We should be hearing a lot more concrete evidence, and I think at some point we will see what the toxicology reports are, what happened to the blood draw at the hospital. I think it better be sooner rather than later, because even though the judge will tell jurors, wait till you hear all the evidence, we start making up our minds somewhere before that and then looking to gather information to support our conclusion. I think the prosecution, if they don't do that soon, we're going to find that they're not going to meet their burden.
That's why we got this question, right?
From one of our viewers. So we've been asking viewers, let us know what you want to hear. We have Michael. We drag him in almost every night. This one is from Christine. Can the defense file a motion for summary judgment, essentially showing the prosecution hasn't proven their case? And Glenn pointed out earlier, it's a little early, perhaps, to be asking this, but honestly, is it? Because, again, you think when you're listening to the prosecution, you must be patient before you'll hear the defense's side. I'm really only hearing the defense's side.
Yeah,
so to Christine's point, can we just nip this in the bud?
Not summary judgment, that's a civil term, but you can move for a required finding of not guilty, saying that the government has not met its burden of proof. You have to wait till the government rests, till they complete all of their evidence to do that. And she will not, until that motion is filed, obviously, until they rest, you can't be certain what the balance of their proof is. So she won't shortcut it before that. The question now, and it's a legitimate question, is there enough evidence for a reasonable jury, when the government is done, to be able to find her guilty? I'm not so sure of that top charge. The second-degree murder, as I've said all along, there's the level of intent, the grossly reckless, we aren't seeing that. Certainly not an intentional killing we've seen evidence of, especially with the evidence today with respect to the relationship between the two.
They were all over each other at the bar that night. I mean, that was a quote from somebody on the witness stand, but
we have video of it as well. I mean, that's what...
We get it. Sue and Michael, thank you.
All right, stay right there, because coming up, we know this trial has been national, not just about Canton.
So if you have any questions about what's going on in the courtroom, drop us an email. The address is on your screen.
Change is never easy. There will be naysayers, doubters, and critics. You may even give up for a moment, only to start again another day. Because you believe in moving to the beat of your own drum, in passing down lifelong skills, in your ability to lose weight and keep it off. And when you believe you can succeed, you already have.
Wegovy is for adults with obesity and shouldn't be used with semaglutide or GLP-1 medicines. Don't take Wegovy if you or your family had medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Wegovy and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis and gallbladder problems. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with type 2 diabetes, especially if you take medicines to treat type 2 diabetes. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes, or if you feel your heart racing while at rest. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Call your provider right away if you have any mental changes. Common side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
So keep on believing, because it's not just about the weight you lose, it's about everything you gain. Believe on. Wegovy.
My sons Tuck and Pete lead the law firm of Sweeney Merrigan. Sure, they're brothers, but they can be as different as night and day. Tuck is quick on his feet. Pete, quick on the draw. Street smart, book smart, great talker, great listener. They each have their own special traits. Together, they're unstoppable. It's not the luck of the Irish. They're just that good. Take it from their mother. If you've been seriously injured, you don't need a miracle. You just need a Merrigan.
It's the summer of $9.99 at Bob's.
And we're celebrating with 3 power reclining sofas with fantastic features for just $9.99 each. When the looks you love go for $9.99 or less, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
At Stop & Shop, we're committed to making sure food is always within reach. Inside our stores and out. That's why we've established hundreds of Stop & Shop school food pantries located directly in local schools to fight hunger and feed it forward, ensuring all kids have what they need to reach their full potential.
On the Commonwealth side, I agree there's a ton of repetition going on. We don't need to hear the background of every officer and first responder. We all know how snowy it was.
Even in Florida. Back now on Canton Confidential, this case has gained national attention, and we've also seen it explode in popularity online.
Right now, we want to bring in the man you just heard from there, Peter Tragos. He is a trial lawyer in Clearwater, Florida, where it's beautiful today, I am sure. He's host of a YouTube program called Lawyer You Know. Peter, thanks so much for being with us. And I got to ask you, how did you hear about this case and decide to follow it closely and kind of walk your followers through the testimony each day on YouTube?
I really appreciate you guys having me. It's pretty simple how cases end up getting on my channel, and that's what people are asking for. Thousands of people were asking about this case, and there are certain cases we follow from the beginning and get into the nitty-gritty before the trial starts, and there are others we wait to hear what comes before the jury. And this was one I waited to hear until we saw what evidence actually came before the jury. And that means everybody that's in commenting on the case knows a lot more about it than I do, and boy, is it wild.
Well, what about the fact that you're in Florida and you're hearing some what we would think are very unique New England moments, talking about, you know, not just our accents, but Duncan, and also the way legally things are playing out in court. Does it feel like there's anything specifically Massachusetts about this trial?
Well, I'll start with the Commonwealth. That's a little bit different than the prosecution or the state or the government. So they go with that. The way the judge is doing objections is a little different than we do it here. Of course, the accents, the small town nature of this case is pretty interesting to me. And I think there's some minor differences, but generally it's very similar to criminal cases here or anywhere else in the country that I have seen or been a part of.
We played a clip from your show. You sounded exasperated about the pace at which the prosecution is putting on its case. We just had Sue O'Connell and Michael Coyne in here pretty much saying the same thing. What are the people who follow you say about that part of what we're seeing?
Well, I mean, a lot of them are saying, you know, she's innocent, this is a cover-up, and I'm trying to say, hold on, let's listen to the Commonwealth, let's see what they have, let's see what they present. But it's been 7 days. More than half the trials in the country are done in less than 7 days, and all they've done is kind of set up a background and not connected many, if any, dots to their theory of the case. And instead, their witnesses seem to be connecting dots for the defense. So I'm waiting for them to actually connect how they believe Karen Read did this and how they can prove it with objective evidence.
Peter Tragos, you Glenn, me, Sue, Michael Coyne, and a lot of other people waiting for the same thing.
It's been unanimous
Yeah,
tonight,
it really has. It has. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Florida. And if you want to hear more from Peter, remember he has his YouTube page, Lawyer You Know on YouTube. Peter, thank you.
Canton Confidential, the Canton Reed murder trial. We'll be back right after this.
The Celtics are in round 2 of the playoffs.
The energy level is high.
Before they tip off against the Cavs.
We're live from the Garden Top Giles Eddie House.
Watch NBC Sports Boston to get ready for the game.
We're the better team, and I feel like both sides know that.
Everyone's got to give a little bit more.
They're expecting Jason Tatum to go off.
I'm expecting Jason Tatum to have a big game.
Celtics, Cavs, Game 2 coverage starts tomorrow at 6 on NBC Sports Boston.
Weather on NBC 10 Boston is brought to you by View Boston.
It's not too late to get a new pool installed for summer. Budget Pools has a wide selection of premium above-ground pools in stock. Visit today and get 12 months free financing. Your backyard dreams start at Budget Pools. Local since 1965. Route 1 Peabody.
All eyes on me. Brand new drip is what they see. Diamonds on my teeth. Brand new whip is what they see.
In my bag like a bunch of groceries. All this cheese and greens just come to me.
Freedom you can't take your eyes off. The new 2024 Jeep Wrangler and Gladiator. Jeep, there's only one.
During Jeep 4x4 season, current FCA lessees can get $15,500 in lease support on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. See your local Jeep dealer today.
I'm digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong, bringing you the best deals to supercharge your spring. It comes from the team that brought you steals and deals on the Today Show. This is NBC Select Deals with your local station. Let's start with this. It's a portable phone charger, 44% off, just $39. And the brand says it's the smallest one on the market. Works with Apple and Android devices. This is a 2-in-1 device. They're wireless earbuds and speakers. You can listen to music solo or share the sounds with friends. 83% off, only $25. This is a steal. Take your tunes with you or give it as a gift. Now this gadget right here, you know all the cords that you have? This will organize all your electronics. It is a power strip charging up to 6 devices. No one's arguing over a power outlet anymore. It's only $21. That's 65% off. Take advantage of these exclusive deals. Just scan the QR code or go to NBCSelect.com/deals.
There are those who factor and those who don't. Nothing this good comes this easy.
Except Factor.
Fresh, never frozen meals, ready in 2 minutes.
Since 1965, Budget Pools has been your #1 local source for pool supplies and expert water care. We also carry premium above-ground pools and have over 40 luxury hot tubs in stock. Budget Pools. Visit us today. Route 1 in Peabody. We live for summer.
As we've mentioned tonight, many of today's witnesses knew John O'Keefe and Karen Reed because of their kids.
You'll remember O'Keefe became guardian for his young niece and nephew after they lost their parents in 2013 and 14. Those kids were a big part of his life, and based on testimony from family and friends, they were often spoiled by Reed.
Well, it's believed the children are on the witness list to testify. A motion filed this morning prohibits any filming, photography, audio recording, or transmission of the testimony of these minors. That's according to the Commonwealth's motion. The defendant, Karen Reed, does not object to any of this.
It's unclear when the children will testify or what they'll be asked. We will handle this part of the trial with the sensitivity it deserves whenever it happens. In the meantime, testimony resumes tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and you can expect a full recap at 7 p.m. right here on NBC 10 Boston. For Canton Confidential, I'm Glenn Jones.
I'm JC Monahan. Please join us back here. And again, send in any questions you may have for the experts, NBC10boston.com.
Boston police officer is dead. His girlfriend charged with murder. The prosecution says she hit him with her car and killed him, but the defense says she's the victim of a massive cover-up. Now, the trial is underway, and NBC 10 Boston is taking you inside the courtroom, see the evidence, hear from the witnesses, and get expert legal analysis as this saga unfolds. Canton Confidential, the Karen Reed murder trial. Continuing coverage, streaming on NBC Boston News Channel.
Where can you get Wi-Fi speeds faster than Verizon? X marks the spot. Get the lowest price ever for Xfinity Gig Speed Internet with unlimited data included. That's Xfinity Gig Speed Internet for only $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited. If you want to save more than $800 over Verizon in your first year, X marks the spot. Switch to fast, reliable Xfinity Internet and bring on the good stuff.
Here, anything is possible, as long as you can imagine it. And that's what makes Orlando unbelievably real.
When foot pain is breaking your heart, a mother's story.
My foot pain got really bad after I had my son. I didn't have any energy left to play with him.
She tried various tricks and treatments.
A lot of those disposable throwaway inserts.
Nothing worked, till she got fitted for Good Feet arch supports.
I could feel like something was happening.
Something good.
It's been a life changer.
For Elisa and her now not-so-baby boy.
See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
GIA diamonds at their lowest prices ever.